for defecation. So you see, this is the difficulties faced by our, particularly the female population. So it was really a private issue. It was related to dignity matters, and also it was necessary for safety of human health as well as aquatic health. So this is basically the motivation of that. So today we will see few nice slides and some information how the journey basically started. One of your friends said it started with open defecation system. So now before we going into the slide, few more. So some of the clarification of the term we used. So latrine is, sometimes we used for toilet also. It's a toilet, latrine is basically the same. So we used interchangeably. When you say pit means basically hole in the ground, which is not watertight. So this is basically a digging hole or digging a certain area in the ground, which is normally shallow in depth and which is not watertight, which is not sealed. When you say vault means a container. It can be above the ground, it can be below the ground, but it is watertight, something like a septic tank. So it's a vault, it's a vaulting system. So where you can really keep or preserve your excreta in a watertight channel. So that is called vault. So this is some of the terminology. So now, before going into the little bit more discussion, so what do we mean by conventional and on-site? So conventional means what should be present, which is accepted by each and every experts or everyone in the world, which is called conventional. Conventional means of sanitation system. So obviously in the last class, so we were talking about conventional sanitation system. Sanitation starts from the generation of wastewater or waste, and then it transportation, and then treating into the treatment plant. So that is what we mean by conventional sanitation system. And which is on-site, or conventionally you can sometimes say off-site. This means you generate your waste, but you cannot see how it is treated and where it goes. And then after treatment, where it happens to discharge. But when you say on-site, that means now on-site sanitation is where you manage your excreta or you manage your wastewater at the site where we generate. So that is called on-site. So that is the difference between conventional and on-site. So now if I discuss about little bit about conventional, then you can see that this is currently widely known and used. So this is conventional sanitation. As I said, it's off-site sanitation. It starts with generation and end up with treatment. So that is, people know about the sanitation. It is accepted by decision makers as a potential option. It's a very good option, and everybody as a decision maker accept it as a potential option. And then usually it still often means little consideration for sustainability. Why we say that? Because sometimes we can see that treatment plant is not performing well and could not able to make the wastewater discharge, which is environmental friendly, or which is legally allowed before discharge. And this is something we will discuss a little bit about that, but it is not being practiced in Bangladesh. So this is a dehydrating toilet system. So we'll discuss in this facts later on. So when we come back, then we will discuss it. Just give me a second. আমি শেষ করে ফেলবো। So this means the conventional sanitation system. And when we say on-site means at your premises, then you see that this is not connected to the sewer. This means this is on-site. You don't need about the sewer system for that. It is treated at site where people live. But this is not always strictly true. For example, septic tank. You know the septic tank. Septic tank store the septic sludge. And septic tank also eventually need removal of fecal sludge to a centralized treatment plant. But in Bangladesh, we do not have centralized treatment plant. Then where septic sludge go? Goes to the drain, nearby drain or ponds or river. That means that is not even accepted form of treatment system. All this is on site. Septic tank is on site sanitation, but it is not truly the fact where it can accommodate each and every part of the treatment of wastewater. Sometimes we call this is a decentralized system. Is the same as on-site sanitation system. This means that is basically opposite of on-site, called sometimes off-site, as I said, conventional. Sometimes we call centralized system. This means this system is connected and centrally treated somewhere before it discharges. And this is sewer basinization. This means you need pipeline to be connected from the household, and then it transported into the treatment plant before it going into the environment. So that is. So the reason for having on-site sanitation system rather than a sewer system, then you can argue that why so much limitations of on-site sanitation is there, but why we having on-site sanitation system? Because this is, first of all, this is less costly. Because sewer is always costly. It's not water line. This is rather wastewater line, which needs a lot of slope under gravity. Sometimes if it is gravity does not permit, then we need to have a pumping, and we need also to make sure the pipe are not leaks, so that there is a potential problem with mixing with the fresh water while you're transporting the wastewater through a sewer network. So this is a really costly thing. So that's why to save the construction and maintenance cost, sometimes we can go for on-site sanitation system because people can afford it. Sometimes it is very difficult in a survey said that some people living in a slum area, they cannot really afford a connection to the sewer because of the operation and maintenance cost. Forget about the construction. Let's say construction will do by government. Then it should be run by people. Then people cannot really afford it. Even many municipality, even in the developed country, even in the UK, Germany, you see, this is really developed countries. But still, they have where in some places, still having on-site sanitation system, which is unless otherwise is difficult to get connected with centralized wastewater treatment system. So that's why it is low-cost sanitation system. That's what we call low-cost sanitation system. Sometimes to save water, because water is sometimes scarce and not reliably available. So in Bangladesh, we have plenty of water. It's available, but in many countries, like in the Middle East, you go there, it's a really valuable things. So when you transport your solid or your excreta from the toilet connected with sewerage system, it requires a lot of water. So water goes along with solid goes along with the water. So that's why sometimes availability of water is very crucial for off-site sanitation system or conventional sanitation system. To serve remote location, for example, some people living in an island, and now you want to connect with your sewerage line, centralized sewerage line. So it is very difficult to get them connected for long distance. Only maybe 10 or 15 household, and then it is not really financially viable to connect with the centralized wastewater system, wastewater system. So that's why in that case also on-site sanitation may help. As I said, sometimes housing is temporary. I mean, it's illegal, like slum, like refugee camps. You know, now Rohingya people came in Bangladesh, and now we have a huge, densely populated Rohingya people living in some very congested area. So, and it is very temporary. It is not formal settlement. So it's informal settlement. In that case, it is quite difficult to really go on with conventional sanitation system there. So in that case, on-site sanitation perhaps the best solution to serve. Because it is more flexible with respect to population growth and decline. So it is also possible sometimes you have the line, you do not have the housing, then maintenance is high for off-site sanitation system, but it's for on-site sanitation is flexible. You can stop doing business. I mean, if it is population growth, then you can construct more toilet in that case. And because
Sir,
people prefer not to mix excreta with water in order to make contaminant of the pathogens easier. So in case of waterless on-site sanitation system, or sometimes nowadays, and some people say this is NSS, non-sewage sanitation system, N-triple-S,
স্যার
sometimes N3S. Yeah, please.
স্যার ওই আমাদের বি সেকশনের তো স্যার ওমরিয়াম স্যারের ক্লাস আছে স্যার, আমরা একটু লিভ নেবো এখন?
না, তোমরা ক্লাস শেষ করে যাবে, স্যারের সঙ্গে কথা হয়েছে।
ওকে স্যার।
এই ক্লাস শেষ হলে পরে স্যার ক্লাস শুরু করবে।
ওকে স্যার।
So now, as you can see that, because people prefer not to mix excreta with water in order to make contaminant of pathogens easier. So if you think that we should not mix with excreta or feces with water, in that case on-site sanitation can also be a preferred solution. Or if you think some other reason, you can also write it down in your lecture notes. If something is not discussed, but you still believe that this is one of the reasons we can have on-site sanitation system, you are most welcome also. So let's move into the next slide. So now, it is very important to remember that sanitation consists of 4 major components. So you always remember this. So some people believe that only excreta management is part of sanitation, which is wrong. When you talk about sanitation, sanitation basically consists of 4 components. 1, 2, 3, 4, as you can see here. Number 1, start with excreta management. Obviously, that is the most foul one and most important one to be that demand treatment, which is excreta. Many people think only excreta management when they talk about sanitation, but this is wrong. Under sanitation, grey water management is also very important. This is most often just dumped into the street or gutter. You know grey water? Did I discuss grey water in the definition about grey water in the last class?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you know grey water. Just to give you a reminder that this is a less foul water and compared to the obviously night water or black water we call excreta mixed with the toilet water. So this is grey water management. This is less critical obviously from public health point of view when you compare with excreta. So, but still it needs consideration. I mean, without treatment, it is not wise also to discharge into the drainage. And then also solid waste is also part of sanitation. Solid waste management, because you can see in the figure I showed you in a open channel is almost 50%, more than 50% is covered by solid waste, and that solid waste not only covered or not only reduce the capacity of the open channel, also reduces the flow pattern. So required velocity of the flow, which is really necessary to have in the flow pattern in the channel. And last but not least is the rainwater drainage. So rainwater is less foul unless or until it mix up with solid waste or it mix up with your uh, on ground pollutant. This is relatively pure, but still rainwater drainage is also part of sanitation. But in this course, we mostly discuss about the excreta management. But for all of you, I want to highlight that when you call about the sanitation, sanitation means 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, but the remainder of the presentation, we only deal with low-cost excreta management. And gray water, you know exactly, this is wastewater from kitchen, bath, shower, sink, laundry, etc. Except toilet water or black water, you can say. So this is gray water treatment aspect. So this is will not be covered in this course. So in this course, we only discuss about the excreta management. Also a part of sanitation, but it's not a complete sanitation system. So on-site sanitation is quite easy if there are some conditions must be fulfilled. So on-site sanitation is quite a good option if population density is low. So this means this is a good option for rural areas. Okay, where population density is not a good option for urban areas or slum areas, basically, when population density is very, very high. If money is not an issue. Okay, so for cleaning the septic tank or for taking out your excreta from toilet to another places, if this is the thing, people can afford it, then maybe this is also an easy option and feasible option. But big problems for high population density and low income people, like peri-urban areas or slum. And this is the focus of this lecture, low cost on-site sanitation in urban area. And now, how we define low density, high density. As you can see, low density is if 100 people living in a per hectare area, less than 100 people living in a per hectare area. So that is called low density people. For example, some of the area in Africa, we give example, Lusaka, Zambia, where you can see that 100 to 200 people living per hectare area. How about the urban slum in Dhaka? As you can see, it is 8 times higher than low density. This is a very, very high density. More than 100 people per hectare. And you know 1 hectare is how much is the area belongs to 1 hectare. It's 10,000 square meter, basically. What is the population density in your city? So you can feel like if we take our eyes off from the Dhaka and Chittagong, maybe other cities is not so much densely populated. But in Dhaka, Chittagong, particularly the urban area is hugely urbanized. And in this slide, as you can see, there are on the left-hand side, we said excreta disposal method. This is related with the toilet or latrine development system. So as you can see, from starting with open defecation, ended with water flush toilet with holding tanks or cesspits. So where we are presently in Bangladesh. So we have flush toilet, a very nice toilet with tiles and everything. So we have a very good commode system, bath system, everything. But how the journey basically started. So we need to know and we need to feel really. Maybe I am fortunate that I have a very good toilet or latrine facilities, but there are many people still in the world, almost 2 billion people still having no toilet facility. So you can really feel for that and how you can really address this sanitation issue to bring forward and to motivate people why they should have this system. So as you can see, this is conventional low-cost excreta management method in approximate order of increasing system cost. This means we start with low cost, and then as we move downward, the cost is increasing and increasing and increasing. And also, there are few things you have to keep in mind while you design the toilet. For example, whether you need fecal sludge management or not. Fecal sludge management means whether the sludge we generated during our defecation system that needs treatment or not. Can the system accept grey water? Whether it is permitted to have grey water system connected with your conventional treatment system or sanitation system or toilet system. Whether toilet has human dignity. Having this toilet, whether it increases your dignity or not, whether you feel safe, you feel comfortable or not, whether it has public health risk or not, whether the system has public health risk or not. So that's few things we have to keep in mind while we're designing the toilet. So let's start with often defecation system. As one of your friend already started your discussion that in the previous time when there was no concept of toilet, then people have to wait and people have to go for defecation system openly. Then we normally, people normally what they are doing, people normally wait until the little bit dark, particularly for the women. Then they goes to the somewhere far from the house, and then they have defecation system. It's how difficult, how dignified the system was. Obviously, it's not, and having lots of public health risk. So as you can see, we discussed all these things one by one. And we try to compare this system, whether it is accepted, whether it is not accepted, whether it is a good system, whether it is a bad system, and what improvement being made over the years under the research or under the considering the environmental safety, considering the public health safety as well. So now we are going to describe a little bit about the commonly used low-cost sanitation, excreta management sanitation system. So as you can see, there are 9. We listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Started with open defecation, and number 9, as you can see, then after that we have a flying bucket, a flying toilet. It's a very nice word, isn't it? Toilet is flying. So have you heard about this? Have you heard about flying toilet? So toilet is flying.
No, sir.
No, sir. So when you are in a journey by air, then where your toilet goes? Toilet goes with your journey. Okay, so this is some sort of improvement. So let's see, we'll discuss. So it's quite interesting journey basically. So if we have discussed about face-to-face, that could have been good, but let's try to engage. Let's try to feel the smell of how the system being developed. And number 3, after flying, it was improvement, little bit improvement made. It's a bucket latrine. We use bucket to store the excreta, and that is called bucket. And after that, bucket is, full quite a while and very quickly. So in that case, it was not a wise option. So we move into the simple pit latrine. So pit means a hole in the surface, and this is using for the storing the excreta. So number 4 is basically more stabilized form of toilet. Otherwise, 1, 2, 3 is just very much informal. And number 5, you see ventilated improved pit latrine. So it was starting with pit latrine, then pit latrine converted into ventilation system. So that is we call ventilated improved. So improvement being made over pit latrine. So that's why we call ventilated improved pit latrine, sometimes called VIP latrine. And next is coming as a pour flush latrine with pit or septic. So pour flush, it means you poured something. What do you pour? You poured water. So it's called flushing toilet. That means when people have idea that our toilet needs cleaning, at the same time we clean our anal after